whispers in the darkness. The ill-intentioned and the wicked creep aimlessly and recklessly through the night. The unblinking eye of the moon gazes down upon me. Its light illuminates, but does not warm. Human life festers in the endless sprawl of their own design. The reprobates, the traitorous, and the corrupt. The city screams into the void, a symphony of victims and victimizers. Nothing will stop me on my crusade.
You have one new message.
Hey Sam, this is your boss. Just trying to get an update on your progress. Just send me a sample whenever you get the chance.
Yeah, so the book was called The Mysterious Stranger, but the character was called the Chimera.
I finally found a lead, but it wasn't easy. The guy's a bit of a recluse. Yeah. Well, I should at least hear what he has to say. Otherwise, what's the point? There's no article without him. I had to jump through hoops just to get the address.
Found what you were looking for. Each issue was kind of its own short story. The Chimera was never the main character. He narrates and he shows up at the end of each issue, but each book is told from a different person's perspective.
After the war, I wrote a column for a cheap local paper. It wasn't until the 80s that I did a couple of shorts for a sci-fi magazine that I got into writing fiction.
So, when did you start writing comics?
I got a job working for a horror anthology where I did a couple of Tales from the Crypt rip-offs. That was actually my first time writing for comics.
So, how was it like working with Lang? What was your collaboration like on The Mysterious Stranger?
If all Arthur and I ever did was work on comics, it would have been a beautiful relationship. But he was always better at playing politics than I was. Company man.
Politics? Really? Is that why you left it?
I had bigger plans for the character before it was more or less taken from me. The publisher who printed our books got bought out by a trading card company. This was our best-selling book at the time, and they wanted something to put on lunch boxes, you know, sort of a Happy Meals toy kind of thing. I'd always hoped to do something, you know, a little bit more psychedelic. The editorial is still editorial. Arthur was our middleman. And after all that, I wrote a couple of different titles, crime stories, a western.
But no more superhero books.
No, that character was never meant to read as a typical superhero. I was trying to shake up the formula a bit, man.
He was never really supposed to be human. More of a specter, or a phantom, melting into the shadows. The Secret Origins issue gives you multiple versions of his backstory, but never says which one is the truth. A slave from ancient Egypt cursed by the gods to fight evil until the end of time? a war veteran who returns from the front lines to become a vigilante after gaining psychic powers. An angel cast out from heaven and doomed to live on earth until he is redeemed. A doomed wanderer in search of his soul.
I am the avatar of the Chimera Force. Attack from the left, you are confronted with the lion's head. Attack from the right, you are accosted by horns. Attack from behind, and you are met with the serpent tail.
It was a challenge for the readers, man, to open their minds. Get them to examine different perspectives that collapse into a singular identity.
Pretty heavy for a superhero book. I mean, if the character meant so much to you, why did you disown it?
I never disowned it. It disowned me. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. So they started making the money, they're going to help us stick their fingers in. Well, they did pretty well without me, too. I mean, they got their lunchbox and short-lived animated series, even a line of action figures, too. After I left, I'm pretty sure it ran for another 30, 40 issues. Bunch of miserable fuckers. I have absolutely no interest. Same for the movie.
They changed his backstory so that he's just some guy with superpowers.
If they want to piss on me, they may as well go full stream. Not that I like besmirching other writers, but they're a bunch of fucking hacks!
Were there any sort of royalties or anything involved?
Chump change. Whatever, there was an omnibus or reprints. I never cashed a single paycheck.
Sure. You just let your wife cash them in for you.
Hey, listen, guy. You wanted my side of the story, so there it is. I don't own any of the rights to any of my own works. These conglomerates, they move in and mine these funny little books for their precious intellectual property. Their amusement parks are churches, and they need new gods for the masses to worship, swooping like vampires and suck them dry. It's a fucking joke!
I see you, Marcus.
You start with an idea, and you put your heart and soul into it, and then something starts to happen. The idea starts to spread like a virus. It takes on life all its own. It becomes something you never intended. Well, you can't take it back now, it's too late. You don't even own it anymore. Like a splinter festering in the back of your mind. You know, for all the years, people like you have asked me how my reality has affected my fiction. Many of you have asked me how my fiction has affected my reality.
All right, I'll bite. How have your fictions influenced your reality?
Poison. Never get into comics, kid. They'll break your fucking heart.